We are approaching the 25th anniversary of the death of Diana, the Princess of Wales. We thought we'd look at the often misunderstood relationship between the Princess and the Queen. Daily Mail columnist and royal biographer Robert Hardman gave us his thoughts.
The Queen is, her faith is incredibly important to her. She's a big tent kind of person. She's very forgiving. And, she could see that Diana was a wonderful mother to Harry and to William, and obviously with William in line to the throne, the Queen could see how important that relationship was. So it was, a relationship that, like in any family, would have its stresses. But right to the end, the Queen could see and chose to see the good in Diana. The death of Diana came as a ghastly shock. The Queen was told right away in the middle of the night, and her absolute priority straight away was the boys. History relates that the Queen was sort of slow to respond. She was not slow to respond. I mean, she was absolutely on it right away, and her priority was, right, we've got to make this as bearable for these poor traumatized boys as we possibly can, and that meant sort of throwing the warm embrace of Balmoral, of the family, around them. I mean, she went straight into grandmother mode rather than straight into sovereign mode, if you like.
She was an exceptional and gifted human being. In good times and bad, she never lost her capacity to smile and laugh, nor to inspire others with her warmth and kindness. I admired and respected her for her energy and commitment to others, and especially for her devotion to her two boys.
At the same time, she was extremely aware of the fact that this was, represented a major challenge for the monarchy, and it was a great family tragedy. There is this sort of perception, this rather, I think, misplaced media narrative that the sort of royal family was sort of asleep for most of the week after her death, and that somehow the Blair government had to sort of come to their rescue and show them what to do. I mean, that is complete piffle. She was very much very involved, very keen to make sure that the sort of Diana spirit, character, was properly recognised and respected. And in fact, in the start of that week, it was the Spencer family themselves who were calling for a private funeral. They wanted to mourn Diana privately, away from the cameras, and it was the monarchy, led by the Queen, saying, well, the people's princess, I mean, as Tony Blair called her, I mean, the palace weren't calling her that, but they fully respected and understood that sentiment. That had to be, the world had to be given the opportunity to pay their respects to Diana as well. I think there is, again, this idea that somehow Diana's death was a sort of electric cattle prod that suddenly turned this sort of Victorian institution into a modern institution. And that, again, that's a complete misreading. I mean, the monarchy had been going through very, very fundamental internal reforms, probably the most extensive internal reforms in hundreds of years, through the late 80s and into the early 90s in terms of sort of management system, structure. It had become much more meritocratic. It was changing the way it did things. It had changed the royal finances completely. Certainly there was a sort of a greater openness to doing things differently. That was very much a Diana legacy, if you like. She certainly made it easier for the more modernising, progressive voices in the palace to be heard.
Thanks for watching. On Thursdays, don't forget to tune into Palace Confidential, your weekly look at all things royal.